your gifts never leave you. And I'm going to tell you why your gifts never leave you, because they're yours. So there are gifts that you have been given. There are gifts that and talents that have been placed inside of you from birth. And regardless of what you do, how you live your life, whether you're aware of them or not, whether you invest in them or not, they're never going to leave you. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Practice, the podcast where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindset, habits, and skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Dr.Rees. It's time to get better, y'all. Let's grow.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Practices are meant to be competitive. They're meant to be competitive. If your practices aren't more competitive than the games themselves, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yo, I'm so excited to be back up in this thing with y'all. I have to confess that when writing the script for the next couple episodes, I was getting emotional for the excitement that I have to share this message, this note, this hope of encouragement, this practice plan with you, because it has everything to do with you and who you are as a human. And today we're talking about giftings. And for me, that just it brings me so much joy to be able to empower people to grow in their giftings, to invest in their giftings. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So before we get any further, I have to do all that fun stuff and ask you to to subscribe, to follow, so that way you can stay up to date and get your daily doses, your weekly doses of confidence and getting better here at Practice the Podcast. And then by the end of this episode, I'm pretty much confident you're going to want to share this with a friend, somebody that you love. So I'm going to ask you right now to make sure you do so. So without further ado, let's just get after it, all right? Today, we are talking about Gifts AI. Now, a couple episodes ago, we started this series off, or this portion, talking about the purpose equation. And Gifts AI is an aspect of the purpose equation. You will not be able to live out your gifts without this, period. There's 4 things that I feel like you need to be able to tap into, and without them, you can't live out your purpose and you can't live it out with confidence. So today we're focusing in on Gifts AI. Gifts AI, or the AI, has nothing to do with artificial intelligence, but has everything to do with awareness and investment. So Gifts AI is awareness and investment. And that's what we're going to dive into today. So put on your shoes, your hoop shoes, whatever it is that you got to do to get better. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like buckle up your seat, but obviously hoop reference. Hopefully that made sense. Regardless, we about to get better, y'all. So the quote for today's episode is this: your gifts never leave you. Again, your gifts never leave you. And I'm going to tell you why your gifts never leave you, because they're yours. So there are gifts that you have been given. There are gifts and talents that have been placed inside of you from birth. And regardless of what you do, how you live your life, whether you're aware of them or not, whether you invest in them or not, they're never going to leave you. There's nothing you can do to outwork, outshake, outmove, disrupt your ability to live out your gifts. And this gives me so much hope and so much encouragement, and which really fuels my energy for folks who feel like they may be lost or hopeless or got caught up in a certain system or somewhere in life and feel like they don't have any more anything in them to give, right? Because I firmly believe that your gifts are in you and they're not going nowhere. And so just because I have gifts, though, doesn't mean I know what they are, and doesn't mean I invest in them. It doesn't mean I know how to invest in them in order to use them. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so I need you to keep this at the top of your mind, is your gifts never leave you. When you see somebody in anywhere in life, their gifts have never left them. I don't care what they're doing. They're still gifted. They're still talented. So that's what we're about to dive into, okay? So I firmly believe, we here at U-ish firmly believe, that because you have a purpose, you have potential. And because you have a purpose and potential, and there's kind of a gap and a tightness between those two things. But in order for you to live out your purpose and in order for you to reach your potential, you have to have gifts and talents to be able to execute those two things. And that's what we're diving into. Okay, so because you have a purpose, you got gifts. And everybody's always talking about folks like, oh man, they had so much potential. Oh man, they didn't reach their potential. Oh man, they really did reach their potential. But all of that is based off of what? Their gifts. Especially for me in the hoop world, a lot of people will look at athletes and they're like, oh man, yeah, she just didn't reach her potential. Oh man, I hope she doesn't plateau before she reaches her potential, right? It's always in reference to hope. That's a whole nother bar and world and podcast right there is potential, right? Like we attach potential to hope, and without work, your potential doesn't come to fruition, right? But in this context, again, it's attached to your giftings, right? And it's attached to your ability to be consistent and persistent with executing on your giftings in order to reach your potential. So in this, let's break down what does it really mean? What does gifts mean? What does talents mean? And so I was like, let me do some research on these, soft research, and just kind of see what comes up. And when it comes to gifts, a gift, we usually think of gifts obviously like presents, Christmas, like holidays just passed, birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of deal. That's a part of it. But the dopest part about this is, right, like when you really look into what gifts are, what comes up is it's a thing someone it's willingly given to someone without a payment. Like that part right there is a bar. A gift is someone willingly giving to something. A gift is something willingly given to someone, willingly, like it was given to you by will to someone without a like notion of payment. So like if I'm giving you this, I'm not going to give you a loan. That's not a gift, right? Because this is key. The difference between a gift and a loan is a loan has to be repaid and a gift has to be executed on. Like a loan, you still have to execute on it, but a gift is for you to enjoy without, like, you don't have to pay me back a gift. Like I tell I have this personal boundary of mine. Like I don't loan money. I give money. I don't loan it. I will give it. Right. As a personal thing, as a business, that's a different story. Right. But I don't loan money. I'll give it because I don't want any expectations on it. Loans have expectations. Ooh, hold on. But gifts, the expectation for your gift, though, is that you use it. That's the thing. Like the expectation for your gift is that you utilize it. But the dopest thing about it is it's going to give you so much organic energy, and it's also going to bless the world and also bless you at the exact same time. So it's important for you to understand, right? Like there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no negative connotation to you being given a gift. There's no interest on it. There's no negative interest on it, right? Like it's not going to be a bad thing for you to utilize this thing that you've been given. And the other dope thing about gifts is it's a natural ability or talent. So a gift is something that's been given to you as a natural ability or talent for you to utilize with no strings attached. How dope is that, right? When I look into talent, what comes up is talent is a natural, again, key in on the word natural, aptitude or skill. So talent is a natural aptitude or skill. Think of it as something you organically do great, natural aptitude or skill. Capacity for achievement or success. So when we're really diving into this, right, we're not talking about presents as in gifts. We're talking about like your ability to naturally achieve success in said area. Your ability and your intrapersonal capacity for achievement. So what's so dope about that is, like I said at the top, is everybody has purpose and everybody has potential. So that means you have a natural capacity for success. How filthy is that? You have a natural capacity for success. But if you don't do what you have to do by having the awareness and then investing in your gifts, you'll never reach that capacity, right? Like your gifts will make room for you. So there is already room filled with capacity within you for you to go do what you got to do. But if you're not aware and have the ability to invest to make that come to fruition, it's just going to sit there. And that's the sad part. Right. And this goes back to what I said with the quote is your gifts will never leave you. The capacity is always still within you. It's your job to feel it. It's your job to execute it. Right. And to increase it and tap into it. The other thing that I think is super dope about when you look at talent in ancient Rome, they described talent as a weight. Right? It was a weight or a unit, right? It was a form of a weight or a unit. So when you look at that, you're like, a weight and a unit. Like it was a unit of currency. So back in the day, back in ancient Europe, ancient Rome, Talent was a unit for currency. So if you know anything about you, and you know anything about me, you know that I firmly believe that you are the bag. And the reason why I believe that you are the bag is because you are it. Your purpose, your mind is your greatest assets. And as you being the bag, you are the holder of those things, right? Because the bag is the thing that holds the money. So you are the thing that holds the money. Your gifts and talents sit inside of you. And talent literally was a word and a term used for currency. Do you catch what I'm saying, y'all? Like, that's the dopest part about, for me, this entire framework, that there's facts on top of facts on top of facts, that you were born to do amazing things. But if you're not aware and you don't invest, it ain't gonna matter. So here's a thought process that I want to help drive this home for you, right? Think about when you go to Target or Walmart or even Lowe's, right? And or Safeway, they have a really big wall of gift cards. Big old wall of gift cards to everywhere. Man, they got Uber gift cards, Southwest Airlines gift cards, and Bath and Body Works and Apple and all these places. I get so excited when I walk up to the gift card wall because I'd be like, wow, look at all these places that I love. It's just so amazing. And it's funny because on front of them, they have different currencies that they're worth. You walk up to the gift cards and you see a wall and they have different labels of worth. It's like 10 to 25 or 50 or 100 or up to 500 and all these different numbers in a wall of gifts with different numbers and different currencies. The thing about this, and I buy gift cards often so I can give them away. And the thing about this is, if I was to go buy these gift cards and I was to go give them to the person, but I skipped the activation at the register, the gifts don't have any value. So I'm gonna say it again. If I go, I pick out 10 gift cards worth $100 and I buy them, I pay my $1,000 for them, right? And then the lady, whoever it is, she ends up running them, charges me cool, and then just gives them to me, and then I give them out. The person who's gonna go use it, if I didn't activate them at the register and give them their value, they're not worth anything. And this is the same when it comes to your gifts. Your gifts have been given to you. But if you don't do the activation part, if you don't tap in to make sure that you're aware of what they are, you don't activate them in some type of way, they don't leave you. You still have them. They're still yours, but they still have a potential value set. That's the key part here, right? Is the potential value is set. The value doesn't change. It just was never activated, so it's not worth anything. That's the exact same thing for you. You have gifts and talents that you've been given, but if you don't activate them, they're not going to be worth anything. They're going to be worthless when they're really ultimately priceless at the end of the day, right? Another story I want to give to you is one time I bought my mom a Victoria's Secret gift card. There's like that sounds kind of weird, but there was some pajamas there that she liked, right? So I buy her the gift card. I was in high school still, $60. Boom, mom, I got you. Here's this gift card. And the gift card sat in her wallet. And then I remember like after a couple years going into her wallet or asking for something. And I was like, mom, where's da-da-da? And like, I see the Victoria's Secret gift card. And I was like, mom, is this the gift card that I got you in high school? She was like, yeah, I'm waiting for or leave it up to her. She was waiting to like lose weight or something like that so she could really get the size that she wanted. And I was like, mom, this gift card's been sitting in here for years. Now, here's what's cool about gift cards, right? Is they don't lose value. It's going to hold. It was still $60. It's worth $60 today, just as much as it was a couple years ago when I bought it, right? But the thing about it was she never used it. She never put her investment into work. She never put my investment to work, right? And the reason why this connects to us is because, again, you've been given gifts for you to use. Like, I believe God has given you gifts in order for you to use in your life, and you just have them sitting in your heart. You just have them sitting in your stomach. You have them sitting in your mouth. You have them sitting in your hand. You have them sitting in your office. They're sitting. The gifts are sitting idle inside of you, and you're waiting for something. So my question to you is like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Like legit, what are you waiting for? Because really, perfection, the perfect day is never going to arrive. The perfect day, like when all things are laid out and all things happen and all things are in order, it's never going to be perfect. And the thing about the investment part of your gifts is it let me not jump ahead of myself. I'm gonna go backwards. Okay. So again, what are you waiting for? Don't wait. You legitimately have things inside of you that need activation, that need attention because the world needs them. And the reason why I believe that is because you wouldn't have them if the world didn't need them, if they wouldn't bless you and somebody else. Okay? So that's my story, that's my foundation. The moral of it is your gifts need to be activated. Right? You need to have awareness over what they are, and then you need to be able to invest in them. So now we're going to break those two parts down, okay? So when it comes to this, we want to think about gifts AI in the terms of awareness and investment, two different but very distinct and important aspects of our gifts. Awareness essentially is similar to self-awareness. So when you grow in your self-awareness, you're going to grow in your gifts awareness. It's one and the same. But specifically in this area, and what's cool is we talked about curiosity last week. And right, curiosity doesn't kill the cat, it invigorates it. And there's no way you can gain gifts awareness without curiosity. So you need that one to have this one. And they're kind of like two little kids that get to play around and just have so much fun and allow gifts to be gifts. Whether these gifts are to make a profit or these gifts are just hobbies to bring you joy, they both matter. But you're never going to grow in your gifts awareness without curiosity. And that's the first thing that you need to know about the awareness piece. So it's really important for you to know thyself. It's more than just, and I feel like we get hung up on this. When we talk about self-awareness a lot, it's almost as if it's kind of fixated on like the healing piece and the trauma piece, but like here we're on the other, not necessarily just on the other side, but we're making sure, right, you have both sides of it, but we're on the other side of like, what's the performance look like? Right? Like, what's my strengths look like? Like, again, what are my gifts? Like the self-awareness of the value that I add to the world, the value that I can add to myself, the value I can add to my relationships, my village, my community. Like all of that is this aspect of self-awareness. So if you don't know what you're bringing to the table, then why are you trying to get a seat? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's obviously not for everybody, but some people are like, man, I want to sit at the table. But when you get there, do you know what you're bringing with you? Do you know what gifts you're going to activate there? Do the people at the table know that this seat needs to be for you, or we need to extend the table to bring you up, or we need to get you another table? Like, are you aware of all of that? Because if you're not aware of your gifts and their ability to add value, then it's going to diminish the whole thing. And this ultimately is going to decrease your confidence and impact your performance. And we can't have that. All right. So what's dope about awareness is the more you become aware, the more familiar you are. The more you become aware, the more familiar you are. And the reason why this is important is because familiarity is necessary, right? Like not just in understanding people, places, things like, oh yeah, I've been here before in memories, but familiarity in the essence of like the vocab makes sense, right? Like you're familiar with these terms, you're familiar with how things work, you're familiar with your equipment, you're familiar with what you need to do in order to do this thing. And so when you're aware, you're familiar. And when you're familiar, you're comfortable. When you're comfortable, you're confident. When you're aware, you're familiar. When you're familiar, you're comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you're confident. And all of those matter in order for us, again, to be able to be high performers and confident in it. So you need to become familiar with what your gifts are. You need to be confident in what your gifts are. You need to be comfortable in what your gifts are. And if you're not aware of them, then you'll never be confident in them. So without awareness in gifts, we lack familiarity in our gifts, which means we lack confidence in our gifts, which is why we have to start here. Okay. Now, the next thing I need you to think about is where awareness is a form of attention. Awareness is a form of attention, which goes back to familiarity, right? And I say attention because When you're aware or you're trying to become aware, you're now starting to put your attention in a specific area. And you're able to peel back the layers like an onion, like an orange, like a banana. I don't care. Oh, the fruit. Come on, fruit. Your gifts is fruit. I wasn't even trying to go there, but I went there. But it really is what it is. You're able to pull back the layers on it because you're putting your attention on it. And when you put your attention on it, you're able to recognize what else is necessary here. What else is needed here? What else do you need in order for this thing to develop and grow? And again, I don't know what everybody's gifts are, but if I talk about mine specifically, maybe speaking in the different ways that I can speak and how I could speak better and where do I need to put my attention at when I'm doing whatever it may be, right? Or even basketball or sport. It doesn't even matter. I don't even want to focus and hone in on me. I want you to think about you. What areas of your gifts need more attention? Because if you haven't been giving attention to something, it goes back to it being idle. If you haven't been giving attention to something, it goes back to it being idle. And so it's important for you to give attention to your gifts, for you to give attention to yourself. Because when you give attention to yourself, then that pulls it out of idle mode into active mode, right? And your gifts need to be active the same way your gifts need to be activated. It's all one and the same, y'all. I'm saying the same thing 50 million ways to make sure that this is landing on you so you can feel like, okay, cool, I'm headed in the right direction, or at least I have some more information on the direction to head on what it is that I need to do because I got some gifts and I need to activate these joints, right? My gifts are priceless. You've been given priceless gift cards with no strings attached. All you got to do is spend it. All you got to do is activate it. All you got to do is it. Just do it, baby. That's all you got to do. So that's the thought process behind it, right? And the last thing that I'll say about the awareness piece is when you're aware of something and you're familiar with something and something has your attention, it starts to captivate you. Y'all ever been captivated before? Like, I don't know, if somebody's beauty, I think about my queen and her beauty is captivating. Now, it's not a gift. She's a gift. She is a gift to me. She's a gift to me. And I'm captivated by her beauty. I'm captivated by her smile. I'm captivated by her essence, right? And so in that way, how we can be captivated by somebody else, you can be captivated by your gifts. So the more you're aware, like this is right. This is very, very much, again, confident, but where somebody can be like, oh, that's cocky. Da, da, da. Like, I'm captivated by my ability to speak. I'm not in awe of it, like, ooh, girl. But sometimes I'm like, ooh, whoa. But I'm like, man, that's God. Like, I didn't say that. So there's something like, whoa, like, I'm so blessed. Like I said at the beginning of this, I feel like I'm being used as a vessel to speak some things to y'all. And when I'm writing stuff down and I hear things, I'm like, yo, that's good. But I don't mean from me specifically, like I'm being used to tell this to you and for it to be for me, but I'm captivated by it. I'm also really captivated by all the things that go into just making this production something at one level. And so when you look at you, when you look at your gifts in how you do something, it's okay for you to be captivated by your work. Because when you're captivated by your work, you're like, what? That's dope. And it should give you a smile. I don't care if you're a teacher of any sort, if you're an athlete, if you're an entrepreneur in any kind of way, if you work in corporate, it don't matter what you do. When you do it, you do it. And you can be captivated by your work because when you're captivated, you grow in your confidence. And that's what this is all about. Being captivated by your gifts allows you to be confident in your gifts, because when you're captivated by something, you're that much drawn to that thing and you want to bring more attention and awareness to it because you want to stay close to it. So my hope is when you're thinking about the awareness of your gifts and growing in the awareness of your gifts, that you become captivated by those things, that it captures you up in a way that you're like, I want more of this. I want to do more of this, which leads me to investment. Okay. So we have our awareness. Now we have our investment. And the investment aspect is going to come down to a couple different things. because it's not enough for you to just be aware. It's not enough for you to just see it and be captivated. You have to take action. And investment is the action taking aspect of your gifts. Investing is action. Like, you can't invest without taking action. It just doesn't exist, right? Even if you're reading a book, you're investing by taking time and energy into something, right? And so we have our awareness aspect, but it's not enough to just be aware and just see. It's the same thing where, like, being self-aware of your emotions and your energy and how they impact whatever. Now I have to manage it. I have to be able to lead myself. So self-management, self-leadership, self-awareness, self-management, self-leadership, it goes hand in hand, which is the same thing as gifts awareness and gifts investment. I have to be able to invest in these gifts, to grow these gifts, and invest in other people with these gifts. Because when I invest in other people with these gifts, that's me activating and living out my purpose. When I invest in my gifts and there's no other people around, that's you activating your purpose. Because it's really going to be the times that you're activating and investing in your gifts when nobody's around that really matters. Because that's the of it all. That's the part that really matters, because that's the time that really, when it goes time to show, what people see is all the hours and time that you put in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the hours and time and the work of the investment in silence that people really see. And so the thing that you have to know about investing, and I think a lot of people attach investing to this word I'm about to say. Investing is risky. Investing is risky. Investing is very risky on all levels. I don't care if you're investing in the market. I don't care if you're investing in real estate or investing in your gifts. When you choose to invest, it is risky. But what's dope about investing in your gifts, y'all, is there's always a positive ROI. There is always a positive ROI when you invest in your gifts. Always. Always. Now, I'm not talking about a whole bunch of money for you to go do something that it may not lead and da-da-da. But when you take the time to just invest in you, when you're intentional about the investments in your gifts, there's always a positive ROI. And the reason why there's always a positive ROI is because you're getting better. You're growing. You're sharpening your saw. You're excellent in your craft. Like, you know how to do what you got to do, and you're a high performer with it. You're slick with it. Like, there's always a positive ROI. And when you invest in your gifts and you're willing to take that risk, it's always the ROI, the return on your investment, is going to be exponential, because your gifts are priceless. So when you're willing to invest in something that's priceless, what do you expect the return to be? Why would the return on your investing in your gifts be anything other than positive? I didn't say it's going to be easy. I didn't say it was always going to feel good. I just said at the end of the day, the ROI on investing in your gifts is always going to be positive. So because of that, what's so fire, and we talked about this last week, with going from being a Jack or Jackietta or Jackiana of all trades to being an expert of more than one, is compound investment. So if anybody's familiar with interest and investment, and the reason why, what makes it, so intriguing and important to start when you're younger, is because of compound interest. Now, you probably already know where I'm going, but I got to say it. What's so dope about being given gifts at a young age and having the ability, the time, the resources to nurture that from a young age is, like, by time you turn, we see it all around us in athletes and musicians and now in people on social media and TikTok and all that stuff, right? Like, they started at a younger age, and then they kept getting better, and 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 they kept getting better. Like, yo, look at, like, how you get so good in such a short amount of time. How you get so good? I stay consistent. So essentially, you can say compound investment is essentially consistently investing in your gifts, in your craft, right? Like, I'll say it this way, or share a quick story. So our son just started playing lacrosse. He'll be 7 here soon by the time this comes out. And there's a kid at his lacrosse club who's 13, and the boy is nice. I ain't seen too many lacrosse players in person, but he was doing some stuff. I said, "Oh shoot, he's nice." Like in comparison to Hoop, he looked like he was filthy. And so I was talking to him. I was like, "Yo, how old are you?" He was like, I was like, "You in like high school?" He was like, "No, I'm 13." I said, 13? And the reason why I was surprised he was 13, because one, he carried himself as if he was in high school, but two, his skills with the stick and the ball and all that stuff looked like it was beyond his years. And again, I'm not a lacrosse expert, but I know talent when I see it. And he was like, "Yeah, like I was his age when I got started, and he's like right there, and he stays with it." And I was like, "Yo, you've only been doing this for 7 years?" Compound interest. Then he had on a shirt that said like USA. I said, "You've been playing for the USA?" He's like, "Yeah, I played in Worlds and the top the Olympic and this and da 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 da." And I was like, "You're filthy." And the reason why I bring that story up is because he was able to recognize I was your son's age when I first got started, and then I saw that was only like 6 or 7 years ago. When you're this good and you're playing on the top team in the world and in the state, like, bet. And I say that because he gained awareness early, which takes me back to your ability to, if you've got kids, if you're around kids, if you work with kids, like, give them the ability to explore. Give them the ability to dive into their curiosity. Give them the ability to become aware of all of their options. Because just like everybody ain't for us, everything ain't for us. And when you know that not everything is for you, you start to find the things that are for you. And I'm not talking about honing in on one sport too soon and that kind of thing. I'm talking about like, whoa, I like being an athlete. I like being a musician. I like being a this. Because a lot of people that play sports often play multiple sports. Son asked me the other day, "Am I an athlete?" I said, "You're a multi-sport athlete." That's a big deal. Think about some musicians. When they play one saxophone, they end up playing all the different types of saxophones and this and that and the third, right? Like, it's more than just one thing, and they expand it because of the awareness and the investment. The investment trickles into all these different areas. Think about all the people you see that they act and they sing, like Justin Timberlake. I was watching him the other day. I was like, man, he can kind of act. He can act. I like him in movies. And he can sing and he dance. Like, there's multiple things that you can do, but if you are never aware of the gifting in the first place, and you're never aware of the investment you need to make, and you never make the investment, then the compound interest isn't going to serve you, which is ultimately going to impact your ability to live out your purpose with confidence and reach your potential. That's what this is about. So, I need y'all to tap in. I need y'all to get this juice. I need y'all to get this energy and have some confidence in knowing that you got the juice, that you are the bag, that you have the ability to do some dope things. Now, hear me when I say this part. Though everybody has gifts, I don't think there's billions of people in the world. I don't think there's billions of gifts, but there's billions of people who have gifts that are uniquely fitted to them. Right? Like, I speak, I coach, I teach. There are speakers, coaches, and teachers a dime a dozen, but can't nobody do me like I do me. Can't nobody do you like you do you. So though the gift is the same, it can only be accessed through me the way that I can access it. Does that make sense, right? Like, so you may go to Target and buy four $25 Starbucks gift cards, and you go get it to four high school girls, and they might get four different types of Frappuccinos. Same gift card, same gift, four different people access and use four different ways. That's the same thing. Like, we've been given different sets of gifts to lead, to encourage, to pour out, to serve, like, there's so many things. But our personalities are uniquely ours. Our characters, our visions, our beings, our stories, our visions are uniquely ours. So the gift that we've been given comes out through you in a way that it won't come out through anybody else. But if you don't do what you got to do, somebody else will. They'll do what they have to do. And the gift that makes room for you, if you don't step into it, somebody else will. The gift and talent that you have that creates the capacity for you to succeed, if you don't, Certain things in the world may not never get done unless somebody else does it, but then it'll still miss your touch. And what a shame is that? So, 3 things I want to give to you, all right? 3 things. I want you to do a survey. Do a survey on the things that you do well. Do a survey on the things that like come natural to you. Like I suck at writing. My handwriting looks like a 4th grade boy. Suck at drawing. Like all these different things, they don't come naturally to me. They don't come well to me. I don't even enjoy them. I don't like holding a pen. Like it's that bad. I'll type, but I don't even like holding a pen. That's how much it just ain't my jig. But there's some people, I seen this little girl, she had a drawing. I was like, yo, that is legit. In 2nd grade. So become aware. Think about the things that you do well, that come natural to you, that you enjoy, that you're like, that's it. So I need you to think about that. I need you to take inventory. What do you do extremely well, kind of well, that comes natural, that you don't mind? The next thing I need you to do is ask yourself this question is, am I maximizing my gifts in my current role? I don't care what your current role in life is. Ask yourself this question. Am I maximizing my gifts in my current role? If you're not, you need to figure out how to do so. Because I didn't say this here earlier, but I'm going to say it now, as your gifts give you energy. I'm getting so much energy by doing this right now. So much energy. I love it. And when you do your gifts, it gives you energy. So people talk about, oh, this is why people burn out, because they enjoy what they're doing, right? So they do it. But then obviously there's other aspects. You have to take care of yourself. That's the full picture. But at the same time, like, I don't do anything I wouldn't do for free. If I wouldn't do it for free, I'm not doing it. That's my personal boundary. And it's where you should go when it comes to your gifts, right? That allows you to continue to invest in them, because you're like, man, I do this joint for free. I need to get paid. Don't get it twisted, but I would do it for free. Okay. And the next thing is, are you investing in your gifts daily and weekly? If not, I need you to find a new way to do that. So even if you're like, I kind of like to speak. Okay, speak. I don't say it needs to be in front of a camera. You just need to figure out, where are you speaking? Are you speaking and pouring into somebody? I have the gift of encouragement and motivation. Am I motivating and encouraging people on a daily basis? I have a gift of service. Am I going out and serving my community in some kind of way? I have a gift of leadership. Am I leading? I have the gift of teaching. Am I teaching? Whatever your gift is, I need you to figure out, how do you utilize it and invest in it daily and weekly. Because when you invest in your gifts, it's compound interest, and the ROI is exponential, y'all. So I hope that this message brought some type of hope, I hope this joint brought some hope, some encouragement, increase your optimism and excitement for you to say, you know what, I am the bag, because you are the bag and I got it inside of me. And all I need to do is become more aware and need to invest, and I'm off to the races. I need you to remember a couple things. Number 1, I love you. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you. Number 2, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me how you're utilizing your gifts, what gifts you want to grow in this year. And then share this joint with somebody that you know will be impacted by it. But at the end of the day, I need you to continue with confidence. And then 2, remember that you are the bag. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Rees. Peace.